Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about right now is another rabbit hole that I went down, and it's called Project Thor. And I have some things that I'm going to be reading to you, okay? But I'm also going to be putting things up on the screen. So please feel free to pause and read what's up on the screen, okay? Now, there's a letter that was sent, okay, and it's via electronic transmission. And it says this: to the Honorable Alejandro Mayorkas. Honorable. So, Secretary, Department of Homeland Security, dear Secretary Mayorkas, Project Thor was a Bureau of ATF led project started in 2018 with operational assistance from the DEA, Special Operations Division. According to public reports and legally protected whistleblower disclosures provided to my office, Project Thor was a program that used a whole of government approach to target U.S.-based firearm trafficking networks, supplying the cartels in order to shut them down, seize the real property associated, and indict, extradite, and prosecute the heads of these networks. The records provided to my office show that Project Thor partnered with over 16 executive branch agencies while it was operational, including Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection, and Homeland Security Investigations, U.S. Postal Inspection Services, FBI, U.S. Marshal Services, the U.S. Embassy in Mexico, DEA, and Justice Department attorneys. Public reports indicate Project Thor was praised for its success, and the ATF presented its team with the agency's Distinguished Service Medal Award. However, ATF shut down and defunded the operation in fiscal year 2022. I write to you today about your agency's role in Project Thor and your efforts to support dismantling cartel firearm trafficking networks operating in the U.S. and neighboring countries. An ATF document in my possession shows that Project Thor was designed to limit the ability of Mexican cartels to wage their drug war through violence, terrorism, and intimidation by disrupting their access to U.S. sourced firearms and their financial networks to purchase them. According to the document, Project Thor used intelligence gained across the U.S. government to illuminate cartel firearm trafficking networks and connected seemingly unrelated law enforcement investigations across the country. Based on the document, Project Thor's efforts revealed that cartel-led networks across the U.S. are directing the trafficking of firearms to Mexico through networks of straw purchasers, middlemen, and couriers. The document also states that Project Thor was able to connect and provide support for investigations into cartel financial networks that allowed cartels to fund purchases of weapons in the U.S. and smuggle them into Mexico. Further, the document shows that Project Thor intended to move cartel by cartel to support the capture and extradition of their members for prosecution, seizure of assets, and to shut down firearm trafficking pipelines. The document also shows that Project Thor intended to move cartel by cartel to support the capture and extradition of their members for prosecution, seizure of assets. Okay, sorry, I messed up. And to shut down firearm trafficking pipelines. The document also shows that Project Thor supported 76 cartel trafficking cases from 2018 to 2020. Despite these efforts and the several federal agencies involved, senior Justice Department officials said that they were not familiar with Project Thor. I find that really hard to believe. This admission is surprising because email records from July 17, 2020, provided to my office that the ATF HQ asked U.S. officials in Mexico about briefing then U.S. Ambassador to Mexico, Christopher Landau, and the Deputy Chief of Mission on Project Thor. The email says the briefing would be conducted by the ATF and the DOJ, led on Project Thor. Further, the email passed on a message from ATF HQ to Ambassador Landau, which states they have several CJNG networks identified, and almost all of the guns from the assassination attempt tie back to one of these networks. And it is a strong indicator that Thor has identified most of the major CJNG weapons trafficking networks. Legally protected whistleblower disclosures provided to my office identify the attempt referenced in the email as the 2020 attempted assassination of Mexico City's Secretary of Public Security, Omar Garcia Harfuch, Harfuch, where a 28-man CJNG hit squad opened fire on his SUV using .50 caliber weapons. The email also passes along ATF HQ's thanks to Ambassador Landau and his team for their work in obtaining and sharing information uncovered in Mexico related to the assassination attempt. Moreover, emails recorded from July 18, 2021, indicate that DOJ worked to schedule a briefing on Project Thor between September 13th through the 17th, 2021, with U.S. Embassy officials in Mexico. The timing of this briefing appears to coincide with the arrival of current U.S. Ambassador to Mexico, Ken Salazar, who was sworn into office on September 2nd, 2021. The public records and reports provided to my office indicate Project Thor's reported success was due in part to a whole of government information sharing strategy with a direct focus on connecting straw purchasers in the U.S. with cartel leadership in Mexico, who directed the purchase of firearms in the U.S. and trafficking to Mexico. Reports have described the Biden administration's U.S. strategy to stop trafficking to Mexico as ineffective, and questions have been raised about law enforcement, intelligence, and diplomatic agencies' commitment to dismantling cartel gun running networks operating across the U.S. and in neighboring countries. The American people deserve to know more about the Biden administration's strategy, efforts to share information, and interagency collaborations to target cartel firearm networks in the U.S., cut off their money and seize their assets, and hold all of those involved, from straw purchasers to cartel members and leadership, accountable and brought to justice, so that Congress may conduct independent oversight concerning your agency's role in Project Thor and this administration's whole of government strategy in efforts to disrupt, dismantle cartel network trafficking firearms in the U.S. and neighboring countries. Please provide answers to the following no later than April 4th, 2024. Provide all records relating to your agency's role in Project Thor. In addition, please provide a description of that role, how many employees from your agency provided direct support to Project Thor, provide their position, rank, and title, provide all records relating to your agency's current role in targeting cartel firearm trafficking networks operating in the U.S. and neighboring countries. In addition, please provide a description of that role. How many employees from your agency provide direct support to efforts to disrupt and dismantle cartel firearms trafficking networks operating in the U.S. and neighboring countries? Provide their position, rank, and title. Provide all records relating to your agency's role in ATF Operation Southbound. In addition, provide a description of that role and participation in the firearms trafficking task forces. How many employees from your agency provide direct support to ATF Operation Southbound? Provide the position, rank, and title. And in keeping with Executive Order 13526, please segregate all unclassified materials with the classified documents and provide all unclassified information directly to the committee, and provide a classified addendum to the Office of Senate Security. Although the committee complies with all laws and regulations governing the handling of classified information, it is not bound, absent, or its prior agreement by any handling restrictions. So that right there, plus everything that I put up on the screen for you, is Project Thor. All right, guys. Please do your own research and form your own opinions. You have a great day. I will see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping, and as always, fearless. Ciao.